Um, Hello, I'm Rachel,
I'm Cassandra.
and we're Wattpad Woes. Um, and tonight, hopefully, we are going to be finishing His Nerd by Sir Ellious on Wattpad. Um, for the recap, I really don't even know what to say because the last couple of chapters that we read were so confusing.
It's also been a couple weeks.
Yeah,
'Cause we normally do it once a week, but we had to skip
yeah.
this time.
Real life got in the way, unfortunately.
But I think we've been doing pretty well. We've
Mm-hmm.
been pretty consistent so far. So,
Yeah.
um,
Also, I'm eating my dinner, so I apologize in advance if you hear any chewing. Um,
and last time we had our first viewer.
yeah, it was a confirmed real viewer because they left a comment in the chat.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't know until the end.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be trying to keep a closer eye out if anybody feels the desire to say something. I'll try and keep an eye out this time. Um, so for a recap, um, so let's see what happened. They had a
Oh,
falling out. I remember that part.
yeah.
They had a falling out, and then um, Hunter like tried to get her back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she pranked Jessica.
She did.
Yeah. Remember the
Oh
poison ivy?
yes, yep,
She
I
rubbed it
remember
all in her
that.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So she did that. He gave her some, like a bunch of roses.
Oh yeah, the white roses.
Mm-hmm. Um. And then we had that god awful scene that made me scream.
Oh, wait a second. I forgot that. Wait. Oh, crap. I never looked on YouTube to rewatch the stream. I completely forgot about that. Oh my gosh. Thank you for saying that. Because when I see Kyle, I've got to show him that.
Yeah.
Um, okay, wait. Wait, okay. I don't remember what the scene was.
Me neither.
Was it in chapter 22? The
Uh,
last one?
no, I think it was the one before that
Oh yeah,
because it
must have
was right
been.
after he tried to get her back because it was in Hunter's point of view,
Yes, it was chapter 21.
and um, I don't know. I think it was supposed to be like he was conflicted about like the bet and like the feelings that
Yeah.
he's starting to have.
He was talking a lot about his ego
Mm-hmm.
and
How he's
and he was
lusting after Ava.
well and just talking about like I'm looking at it right now. So let me just read
Oh.
this sentence. You just have to tell girls what you think they want to hear so you can get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Blah 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 blah. So like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um
Just general douchebagginess.
yeah, and it was such a 180 because
Yeah.
I remember it being because the last chapter or whatever was before that is like the complete opposite. Like he was being really sweet,
Mm-hmm.
and then this he's just like almost like we went all the way back to square one when she
Mm-hmm.
first introduced him in the book, and he was really douchey, and
Yeah.
that's what he was just like being now. And here we are at the end of the book, and it's like, oh yeah, he's still that person.
Yeah.
He
Like
hasn't
nothing's
changed.
changed. Neither one of them. Well, I guess Ava's
Really
starting to
confusing.
kind of change. Like she's getting a little bit of
Yeah,
backbone.
yeah.
But and then I remember the last chapter, he did another complete 180 because he went over. Did she go over to his house or he came over to
Yes.
hers?
Yeah, I just looked at it.
And he
It's the one
invited
called
her.
football.
Yeah, He invited her to his big football game.
Yeah, and he
Oh,
asked her to wear his sweatshirt.
and
And for
I
whatever reason, oh, go ahead.
no, I remembered the drawing that I did for that
Oh,
chapter.
yeah.
The one of her perched on the bed like a creepy bird.
Oh, I really want to go back and watch that now. Oh my gosh. Remind me
So,
to do that.
yeah, I will. So, um, that's where we're at now. We've only it's 29 and we're on 23, so we've got 6 chapters left.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can finish it tonight. So,
Yeah, I really want to.
do you want to start so I can eat?
Yeah. Uh, you're still gonna jump in
Yes.
on the okay. All right. Chapter 23, the game. But for the pit of confounders, let them go and find as little mercy as they show. For all you Americans, because I have had a few comment, I do not mean American football. I'm talking about English football, as this is said in English or England. So it is not what you would call so it is what you would call soccer. Thank you for reading. Oh, well, I'm a dumbass
Well,
because
no, I was thinking
I
of American football the whole time.
yeah, I keep forgetting that this story is set in England. So, yeah. Okay. It was the night of the big game and I was
Kidding.
myself for it. Excuse my language, but I had never been to one, so the thought of going to one with Hunter was a big deal. Right now, I was just waiting for Lily to come to pick me up. Hunter had to be there early, so I need to get a ride with someone else, and I didn't want to go by myself, so Lily was who I called first. Lily was my best friend, and she goes to these sorts of things anyway. She was jumping for joy when I told her I was finally coming to one. After begging me all the time to go, I was finally going, and she couldn't be happier. I decided to dress up warm as it was the middle of autumn. With washed out jeans with rips on the knee and fades everywhere else, and Hunter's white hoodie that he had given me and a beanie to match, I was as warm as I could be. It wasn't too cold outside, so I didn't bother with a jacket. I'm not sure why Hunter gave me a white hoodie because it was going to get ruined, but that was his fault.
Huh?
Why would it be ruined?
That's what I was just wondering. Unless she's going to be
What?
playing football too. She's going to be rolling around in the mud with him.
That doesn't. Okay. Grabbing my phone and some money, I managed to find. I made my way down. Sorry, to grab something before I was to be shipped into another world that I knew nothing about. On the counter in the kitchen was a note that sat atop a book. The note was from my mom. Have fun tonight. Here's something to entertain you in case you do get bored. Lifting up the book, I realized it was the second book to the Mortal Instruments set, which I just finished the other night. I mean, I was rereading it, but
Yeah.
I, oh my gosh. Okay. I began screaming out of happiness as I have been wanting to read the next book, but I could never find it in the library. Thanking my mom in my head, I grabbed a packet of crisps before making my way outside to wait for Lily. Locking the door and making my way down the steps, I heard music that was becoming louder and louder. Standing as still as a lemon.
What?
I wonder if that's an English thing to say.
I don't know. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I watched as a big red truck came rolling towards me, which coincidentally is where the music was coming from. In the driver's seat was one of the twins, though I'm not too sure which one it is. The car came to a halt on the side of the road, waiting for me. I didn't move. Where was Lily? The window rolled down on one of the back seats, and there she was. She waved me over. How much do you want to bet she's in Declan's truck? I
No,
don't know.
well, no, because it was one of the. Who even are the twins?
Oh. I don't remember.
I think I remember she mentioned some set of twins in the very beginning, but this is
Girls?
the. No, I think they were boys.
Oh.
No, the one she thinks is gay.
I don't remember.
That's
Are
all
they
I
Hunter's
remembered about
friends?
him. Huh?
Are they Hunter's friends?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. She waved me over and I walked cautiously to the big truck. She opened the door for me and moved over to allow me to hope inside. I did. And after closing the door, I turned to her with a questioning look. She shrugged and reached behind her to fasten her seatbelt. I did the same. Safety first, guys. Uh, how are you doing on your dinner?
I've got
You still eating?
2 more bites of my salad left.
Okay,
And then
let
I've
me
got
know
some
when you're
bread
done.
that I'm going to eat, but I can eat that later.
Okay, because I started this one, so you're
Mhm.
gonna start the next chapter.
Mhm.
So just let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
The truck darted forwards and the music started blaring. I had to stop myself from covering my ears because the music was so loud I felt like my ears were going to bleed. Sighing, I turned away to look out of the window at the darkening sky and how everything looked nicer when the sun was setting. It was all bathed in a golden glow. The perfect time for a photo. After 10 minutes of painful music and the speed at which the twins drive, we finally found somewhere to park and all jumped out from the truck. Looking around me, I realized how busy it was. Parents, students, and teachers had gathered for the big game. There were many people I didn't recognize, and that frightened me slightly as my old self started to kick in and I was ready to dart for the shadows. Because she's a nerd.
After
Ta-
this paragraph, I can start reading.
okay. Taking another sweep of the area, I saw Hunter coming towards us. A wave of relief washed over me as I saw him striding his way over. A small smile played on my lips as he came over.
That was too many overs.
Too many overs? Over it.
Yeah. So you
Right.
so you came. I'm glad. I smiled as he stood in front of me. Of course I came. I've got to support you. He smiled down at me. Whenever somebody whenever somebody writes they smiled down at you, I just
Yeah.
imagine like their head, like their chin touching
Yeah.
their chin
I think
touching
I
their
know what you
chest
mean.
and like
Yeah.
just
Like
smiling.
creepy.
Yeah. um okay, anyway. I'm not talented enough to draw that, so unfortunately I will not be doing that. Um anyway, will you wear one of my jackets while you're in the stands for me, please? My smile grew bigger, and I nodded my head. Oh my god, I cannot read! Handing me his shirt, our hands touched, and a spark shot up my arm. Are they gonna fuck under the bleachers? I looked up at him, and there was something there. Something I couldn't put my finger on.
He's
Yes.
Pikachu.
A cough sounded behind us and snapped me out of my trance. Turning around, I realized that the twins, Lily and Liam, were all stood around us watching us. Oh, I tried to burp, but it didn't work. Sorry. My face flushed in embarrassment, and Liam stood smirking at us. He opened his mouth, but didn't get far as Hunter yelled at him, "Shut up!" Liam closed his mouth, but had a cheeky grin on his face. Excuse me. That made me blush even more. Ew. Hopefully that one didn't sound too gross.
I love that you're reading a romantic moment and then you're
Just belching. Story of my life, dude. Oh, sorry. This is a complete side note, but I just remembered like a moment in freshman year. I don't
oh
know if you
no.
were there, but the vice principal at lunchtime came in and was doing this big speech, and it was completely silent. And I burped so fucking loud. And it was everybody looked at me.
Oh no. I think I remember you at least telling me this.
Yeah.
Or like talking about it. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I was
No, I don't think
there.
you were there because we didn't have lunch together, like, ever.
Yeah, we had lunch together like once.
Yeah, but
Hang on, 1 second.
okay.
What? No, I'm talking to Rachel. No. Yeah, they got like 9.5 inches. Yeah. All right, sorry.
No, it's okay. um, so anyway, this is that's just me, you know. I just burp
Yeah.
at the complete wrong moments of everything. So anyway, back to the story. Hunter grabbed my hand and intertwined our fingers together. More sparks shot up my arm, racing through my whole body. We started walking towards the stands. Oh, I think they are going to fuck under the bleachers.
Rachel.
And I only realized how good he looks in his football kit. His shorts showed off his defined legs. What about his ass?
Right, that's the most important part.
Yeah. And his top wasn't exactly big on him.
Oh, so it was very form-fitting.
Yeah. Smiling to myself, maybe being stuck here for 90 minutes wasn't going to be so bad after all.
More like 7 minutes, am I right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Or 97 minutes.
Oh.
Let's see. We're kind of getting close to the end. I will read. I'll do 5 more.
Okay.
Because these are kind of short paragraphs.
Yeah.
Finding space for all of us to sit at the very front of the stands, Hunter and Liam left for the changing rooms before the game started to have a group meeting. I had a few eyes on me, but maybe that was because I was wearing the football number of Hunter, 10, which means a lot of glares were coming my way from girls, as I was definitely a first for Hunter. He never gave a girl a jacket to wear in the stands because he never kept them around that long. All 22 players walked out onto the field, 11 from each team, both warming up under the strict eye of their captains and coaches, but most importantly from the girls ogling them.
Ogling.
Oh, oops. I guess I've been saying that wrong my whole life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, how did you say it?
Ogling?
Ogling. Yeah, like, you've heard somebody say, like, ogle.
Yeah,
like,
but I always just end up saying ogle.
Ogle.
It's just one of those things.
That's fun.
Hermes, he's trying to eat my bread.
Get that bread.
Mm-hmm. But not this bread. Hunter was barking instructions at his teammates, even though they had scowls on their faces. They listened without talking back, which just showed how loyal they were to him. I lost track of how many I was reading.
Oh.
I'll just do 3 more from here, and then
Okay.
and then it'll be you. They were doing various exercises from jogging to stretches that I couldn't even name. Finally, after a final talk with the coaches, they set up in their positions ready to play for the next 45 minutes. I prepared myself for the worst, that I was going to get bored looking at Hunter this whole time. However, 20 minutes in, I found myself joining in with the crowd, singing along to the songs that I didn't know the words to and shouting encouragement. I'd never felt more passionate about something I barely knew anything about.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. It was magical seeing the way the team worked together.
Oh
my gosh.
That was a good one.
Jeez. I feel like I can smell that. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm just laughing at like you said it was magical and then I just burned. And it's like, that's funny.
It was a good one too.
Yeah, it really was. Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. It was magical seeing the way the team worked together, supporting them on felt like you were something more than just a person sat in the crowd. It made you feel just as much as part of the team as the players. When halftime was called, the score was 1-0 to us, something I wasn't happy about, as Hunter was the. Oh, sorry, something I was
Oh.
happy about, as Hunter was the one to score the goal. Each team left to different parts of the field for a water break and a talk with the coaches. Hunter jogged his way over, and I could feel a few eyes on us. I stood up, however, and with my jelly legs walked up to the little barrier that stood between us. So what do you think? His voice, oh, so what do you think? His voice a whisper as if he was scared that everyone was listening to us. He looked slightly nervous that I was going to say I hated it or something, but I smiled and laughed. I think it's great. You're doing really well. My voice was full of energy, and I'm sure the grin on my face was on par with the Cheshire cat. That's creepy. He smiled and shook his head as he leaned over to give me a hug. I pushed him away and shook my head at him playfully. Nah, Mr. You're all sweaty. And I'm afraid you'll have to wait to have a shower first. He gazed upon me in amusement before a sly smirk came on his face. Oh no. Does this mean Does this mean you'll join me in the shower to give me a hug? My face flushed a deep red. Even the chlorine wasn't enough to cool me down. No, it doesn't. This came out stronger than I thought, but it was still weak. Hunter raised an eyebrow at me before chuckling to himself. Come on, liver boy, we have a game to win. I looked behind Hunter to see Liam and Declan waiting a few feet away. I smiled at them, but only Liam smiled back. The look I got from Declan was chilling, but maybe that was just his game face? I hope, because it frightens me. The way he looked at me as if I was a piece of meat. What? What does that mean?
So wait, is this going to be like a third act plot twist that Declan had a crush on her the whole time?
That's kind of what it sounds. Oh, do you see the little tab on the right? Like where there's normally plus signs, but there's a comment and it's like 5.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to touch it. Oh. Okay. Interesting. What? Interesting. People are commenting on that particular quote.
Uh-oh.
They didn't say anything, though.
No, I just thought of something even worse. But
what?
I don't want to say it.
Oh. I want to know.
It has to do with the R word.
Oh.
I don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Because that makes me uncomfortable.
Okay, I'm going to finish it.
Okay.
Sighing, Hunter went to join his friends, and I left to go back to my seat with one thought swirling around my head. Something is definitely up with Declan.
Yeah. I hope it's not what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And does Declan know about the bet?
I think probably. Because he's in the group.
Okay. I thought he did.
I don't know. I don't know literally anything about Declan or Liam. They're just there occasionally.
Yeah. Other than they don't seem like total douchebags.
Yeah. Well, this little author's note at the end kind of gives it away.
What is it?
I hope you enjoyed this chapter and will comment what you think is up with Declan and what you think to the new development in Hunter and Ava's relationship.
Well, the next chapter is called Danger.
Well, it even says maybe even comment on some ship names.
Where does it say that?
At the author's note. That little bolded author's note at the very bottom.
Oh, there it is.
Excuse me.
What? I don't think that's alluding to anything.
I don't know.
I think the new... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, hey! There's somebody talking to us in the chat.
What?
It's
Hello?
Water Bottle Bear. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
What did they say?
They said, oof, I wish I could listen right now. But hi. And I said hello back in the chat.
Oh, okay, so they can't hear us.
Oh, we're good. She asked how
Oh,
we
gosh.
are. Or he, I don't know. They asked how we are.
Oh, we're good.
We're good.
How are you?
Okay. Oh, she hasn't said anything back, so I'm gonna keep going. I
Okay.
wish you could listen too. This is gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Next chapter. Okay. Chapter 24. Danger. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. Wow. That is extremely intense. Extra intense. Oh, they said we should stream together if you're interested. Maybe sometime. I don't know. I don't know how we would do that.
Just, and I still am not sure. They can't hear us.
No, they can.
Oh.
I think it's just like they don't have time to listen.
Okay. I mean, we just got started with this whole thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I think we want to be a little bit more established and, like, comfortable with what we're doing before we collab, you know?
I mean, we're totally open to it. We just need to figure out what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, this is the fourth or fifth one we've done.
Mm-hmm.
And, every single time I forget how to start a call in Discord, if that tells you anything. So, we're really struggling, but maybe sometime.
Thanks for, I mean, we appreciate the interest for sure.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to continue here.
All right.
After the game had finished, which we won, by the way, 3-1, I headed in the direction of the changing room to go and congratulate Hunter. In the changing room?
Oh, continue reading.
And his team on their big win. I thought if I waited outside the changing rooms, then I'll be able to catch him on the way out, because I definitely didn't want to go in there.
Or did she?
After 20 minutes of me standing there, he still hadn't come out. I'd seen most of the other players walk out, but I never said anything to them. After another 5 minutes, Liam came out, and I walked up to him. Hey, is Hunter still in there? I know it sounded stupid because I hadn't seen him come out yet. Maybe I missed him. I just needed to know. I don't know why I was so desperate to see him. I didn't even like him. Yes, you do. This is so annoying. But I guess one must listen to one's head. Hey, he's still in there. He's talking to Declan. Are you still there?
Me?
Yeah. You weren't saying anything.
Was I supposed to?
I don't know. You were just being really quiet. I didn't hear that.
Well, I was texting Kyle back.
Oh.
Well, I feel bad just not responding.
Yeah, I know. No,
he just woke up.
You were just being quiet, and I'm always afraid that, like, something's happened.
Oh.
Or, like, I might have accidentally turned my mic off, like that one time that I forgot to even turn it on.
Yeah. No, everything is good.
Okay. He's talking to Declan. I smile at him and say a quick thank you before he walks off. Stepping around the corner, I edge to where the door is stood ajar. I can hear the rustle of the wind and the murmur of voices coming out of the devil's tomb. What is her deal with the devil? She said she, like, calls everything and everyone the devil.
Yeah. Weird.
I couldn't see much, but as I got closer, I could tell it was Declan and Hunter talking inside. Their voices weren't clear, but I could make out some words. I win. Ava. Dead. Bet is off. Okay. Wow, this is a really short chapter. Do you want me to just read this one and then you can read a
Sure,
little bit
yeah.
longer on the next one?
That's fine.
I stood still, trying to hear the rest, but they were moving around and making too much noise. I backed away, trying to make sentences out of the few words I had caught. What? I think she meant sense, not sentences.
Oh, no. Sentences. I mean, it's not a well-written sentence, ironically. But sentences make sense because she's trying to form complete phrases. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to walk back up to the door, but Hunter burst out fuming. His eyes found me, and you grabbed a hold of my and started dragging me off the field. What? When did they get to the field?
No, because you get to the locker rooms through the field.
No, but he was dragging her off the field.
So they came out. Yeah, they came out of the locker rooms onto the field, and then he's taking her away from it.
I don't know.
That's what
I guess I was thinking that there was like a dugout, and then kind of behind the dugout there was a hallway leading back into the locker room. And that's what I was thinking. Right outside the door. I don't know. Oh,
okay.
I do not know. I struggled and tried to get him off, but he wouldn't listen. He had a vice-like grip, and whatever I did didn't seem to faze him. I eventually gave up and let him drag me away and off the field. He looked both scared and deadly, and I knew it was best to just keep my mouth shut. I didn't want to set him off. I had so many questions. Huh?
Can I have a... I bet... I really don't... Well, I hope, but I also don't think that what you thought might happen or could happen with Declan is what will happen. But I think that Hunter is taking her away. He's being very protective. He's protecting her from Declan for some reason right now. Yeah. So he he needs to get her out of there. So I don't think he's being like that one time when he pushed her down, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think he's being abusive right now.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Yeah. He's being abusive and trying to be protective, but
yeah.
I don't know. He's not. I don't want to say his intentions are good, because I feel like that would just validate what he's doing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I had so many. Did I read that already? I had so many.
No.
Okay. I had so many questions swirling around in my head, but for now they would have to wait, because not even I would interrupt him in this state. He didn't stop dragging me till we reached the car, and he opened the door for me to get in. I did without asking what was going on, as he slammed the car door and walked around all to the driver's seat, got and just sat there. He was shaking slightly, and I was scared about what could have happened in the changing room to change his mood.
That's funny. Changing room to change his mood. Sorry.
I looked at him, and his grip on the steering wheel was so tight as his knuckles had turned white. There was also a slight shake in his arms, as if he was trying to restrain himself. He's going Super Saiyan again. We sat in silence for a while till he spoke in a husky, monotone voice. You need to stay away from Drew. Huh?
That's...
Yeah, I know that's the one guy, but...
Yeah.
Why I don't know.
So Declan was warning Hunter about Drew.
Maybe? I
That's
don't
what I think.
know. He's bad news and I don't want you caught up in it. What is he talking about? I give him a confused look before replying in a voice just above a whisper. I hadn't been anywhere near him and I wasn't planning on it anyway. What do you mean? He looks me. What?
Well, she said, I, in a voice just above a whisper.
Oh.
Anyway, sorry.
He looks me dead in the eye before speaking in a serious tone. Stay away from him. I'll deal with him, and that's final. Was that serious enough for you? Was I
Yeah.
acting? Was I acting well this time?
Yes.
The way he said it left no room for argument. I nodded my head, but I needed answers. I couldn't be left in the dark. If I needed to listen, then I had to know why. Okay, fine, but I need to know why. Ugh! I hate that.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything for a while. I could see the cogs. He's got that robot look again. I could see the cogs moving in his mind on how to tell me what information could he get away with and what could he leave
Oh my
out.
gosh.
Uh-oh.
Dude.
Liam and I joined a gang 4 years ago. That's where we met Declan. Drew isn't as sweet as he makes out to be. He didn't make himself out to be sweet in the first place.
Clueless.
He's
And apparently, does he have amnesia?
I guess. He's a ruthless gang leader. I can believe that. And he's done terrible things in order for Liam and me to stay in the gang. What? His father was the gang leader before he got shot in a gang shooting. That came out of nowhere.
Jeez.
He takes a deep breath before he continues his story. There was a girl, Jasmine, who I loved with all my heart. And she was killed by Drew. As he said, love is a weakness, and her family were part of the rival gang who shot his father. We're not allowed to fight at school. I'm stuck in this gang that I can't get out of. Now he's on the hunt for you because he knows how I feel about you. So you're Apollo. He's standing right in front of my screen. So you can't. So you're his next target, and I can't lose you too. You're in danger, Ava, and I need to protect you. I stared at him as the whole world went black, and one word rang in my mind: danger.
Okay.
This is a little bit late to be introducing this conflict.
Yeah. But it seemed this entire time that like something was up. Like, what are they, werewolves? Are they vampires? One of us brought up a gang that they could be? Was it you?
No, I don't think we did. I think in the very first chapter, she said that there are rumors that they're do like gang stuff.
Oh.
But
okay.
I don't know. I feel like that should be like sprinkled more throughout the story.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, so that way it doesn't come and hit you like a semi-truck at the very end.
And how these are teenagers.
Yeah.
This is high school. He killed a girl and he's just walking around. And he's just going to kill this girl and just walk around and not be in jail. I mean,
like obviously, clearly, we are not in a gang. So we don't know how a gang operates.
Other than what they say in the movies.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. I feel like at that point, wouldn't Hunter just like snitch?
Well, And
Unless,
that's,
like,
yeah.
oh, no, go ahead.
I was thinking that too. But then you know what happens to snitches.
Oh, yeah.
So, because it's not just the boys that are in
Mm-hmm.
the gang. Apparently it's their entire family or Drew's
Yeah.
entire family, and so they could come after him. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. This is just not a very good book.
True that.
Sorry, Sir
All
Ellious. No hate.
right.
Your book just sucks ass.
All right.
I'm kidding. Okay, next chapter.
25 answers. Ah, it was colder than ice. It penetrated his very heart.
Oh. What?
That's the quote.
Okay, whatever you say, Grim.
All right. I woke up with the sun beating down on my eyes, disturbing me from my peaceful sleep. There was a distant noise of water falling, but not like rain, more like water from a shower hitting a body. Rolled over onto my side and sunk my head into the silky covers and started to drift back into sleep when I shot up off the bed and my eyes snapped open. Oh, that's what I was thinking. Okay, silky covers? I don't have silk covers, and I always close the curtains, so I don't get woken up by the sun, and who the hell is in the shower? And for that matter, why can I hear it when the bathroom is across the hall?
So,
All
what?
these
She, like, passed out because she was so scared?
Oh, maybe.
Because she did
Because
say that the
she's.
world went black.
Yes. So Hunter took her home.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, he probably would anyway, because he has
Yeah.
to protect her.
Ooh.
Um. Okay, so it's weird.
No, that was just the way, like, you said it in that kind of, like, mocking tone. So I was mocking back as a joke.
No, I know.
Oh.
I know. It was the noise I made was weird
Oh.
to me, so that's why I was laughing.
Okay.
Okay. All these thoughts raced in my mind as I took in my surroundings and realized I was not at home, but in a strange place with strange walls and strange furniture. Wait, no, it was slightly familiar. You heard that. The big windows that let the light in showed a beautiful garden that looked like it had been taking from a fairy tale book, was staring back at me. What? With green lustful eyes.
Huh? The windows had eyes?
The big windows that let the light in showed a beautiful garden that looked like it had been taken from a fairy tale book, was staring back at me with green lustful eyes.
So I think I think obviously
Garden.
the eyes belong, but why would the garden be lustful?
Aren't Hunter's eyes green?
Yeah, but I just jumped ahead and Hunter's not even in the same room as her.
Yeah, well, obviously he's the one in the shower.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
I
gonna
don't
keep reading.
know.
The silk sheets were a deep navy color that shimmered slightly in the light. It was smooth under my touch. I'd never felt anything so soft. It is like lying on a soft, fluffy cloud. We're in middle school. The shower turned off and I watched. Oh, here we go.
Oh.
And I watched hesitantly, waiting for someone to emerge. It suddenly dawned on me that I have no idea who could walk out. Really? Really? I may need to be prepared to run for my life. Looking around the room frantically, I searched for something to defend myself in case I need to run. Oh, come on. Grabbing the lamp off the bedside table, I was ready to defend myself. After 2 minutes, Hunter walked out with a towel wrapped around his waist. The towel was really low and showed off his defined V-line. His not-so-hidden abs and pecs stood out, glistening with water drops. His hand made his way into his wet hair, and damn, he looked mighty fine. He knew it too. His arms bulged at this move, and don't even get me started on his back.
Was
He
there
smirked
something
at-
else that was bulging?
Ugh. Rachel.
I can't help it. It's just too easy.
No, I know. Oh, he smirked at me and raised an eyebrow at me for holding the lamp. I felt my cheeks heated up as a dark shade of red overtook them. I placed the lamp back as I heard him speak behind me. It's rude to stare, Princess. I glared at him with all the dignity I had and tried to push the redness away from my face as I spoke back to him. I was not staring, and even if I was, there's not a lot to look at. His mock hurt made me giggle as he brought his hand up to his chest as he pretended to be shot in the heart and wounded. I suddenly realized where I actually was, and I scrambled for the bed sheets to see what I was wearing. Oh.
Oh.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Jeez. My underwear was on, but my clothes were missing. However, it appeared as if I was wearing one of Hunter's tops, and it looked huge on my small frame. I feel a slight panic rise in me as I wondered where my clothes have disappeared to. I searched frantically around the room, trying to find them, but there was nothing I could see that belonged to me. What did this mean? Did we have sex? I felt the panic rise up in my throat and grip around it tightly, and I felt sick. I noticed Hunter watching me with laughter on his face. Why don't you read a little bit and then
I'll read. There's like a big paragraph.
Yeah.
So I'll read down to there.
Yeah. Okay.
First of all, I just want to make a comment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does Hunter seem like the type of person, like, if he R'd somebody in their sleep, that he would put their underwear back on?
No.
I don't think so. So, obviously, they didn't have sex. Okay.
So.
Did you say that my eyes widen?
No.
Paragraph?
No, the one above that you should read.
Okay. I changed you out of your clothes and had them washed, and I put you in the one of my tops. My eyes widen in horror and embarrassment while I see he is lighting up with amusement. Don't worry, I barely looked. Gross. I could hear the amusement in his voice as he said it, and I scowled at that. My face fell as I realized he probably didn't like me anyway because he is Hunter Black and I'm just Ava Little Miss Unnoticed. Did I snore or move a lot last night? I'm told I do that. The moving, I mean. What I said must have taken him by surprise because he started laughing and shaking his head. His laugh was rich and warm and filled me with happiness hearing it. It was delicate and full of life. So different from his usual dark self. Princess, I slept on the couch. He pointed across the room to where he had clearly slept with a blanket across him. I turned a deeper shade than what? I think these two words are mixed up. It's supposed to be, I turned a deeper shade of red than, oh my god, no! Let me read it how it's put in here.
Okay.
I turned a deeper shade than red than before and just wished the bed would swallow me up. That was a terrible sentence. Why do I make such stupid comments? Did I snore? Now I've just admitted that I snore to Hunter freaking Black. I'm not even sure if it's true. What? I look up from where I have hung my head in embarrassment and notice Hunter watching me closely. I take a deep breath and look him right in the eyes.
Oh my gosh.
That's what she said. Hunter, I really need some answers about what happened last night. You can read from here. There's only a little bit left.
He took a deep breath and looked at me, and I could see the pain in his eyes. He sat down on the edge of the bed and fumbled his hands together before speaking. I tried to focus on his face and not on his sculptured body. That's true. He still is in the towel.
Yeah, he's still like half naked.
Yeah. I joined a gang 4 years ago. I joined with Liam because we were trying to protect the people that we loved. It's not something I want to go into. That is where we both met Declan. He was trying to support his family as he is from a less fortunate family. Anyway, after about a year of being there, Drew's dad, the gang leader, was shot in a gang shootout. He is a good gang leader. Was fair but strict. Oh, too many gangs.
Yeah.
When Drew took over, everything changed.
Okay, hold on. Pause. So he's like 16.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming when that happened. So
Mm-hmm.
they were with all these adults that just let a teenager tell them what to do.
That's a good point.
That's so stupid. Ugh,
Just a teenage gang now, I
I
guess.
guess.
Real scary.
Yeah.
When Drew took over, everything changed. He showed no mercy, and he is ruthless and bloodthirsty with enemies and allies alike. My girlfriend at the time, Jasmine, was the love of my life. My whole world was snatched from me by Drew because love is a weakness, and she was part of the family that was involved in the death of his father. What he did to me destroyed me, and I never thought I'd be able to love again before I met you.
Ooh!
I looked at him and saw the tears run down his face, and I realized that he has been holding all this in for so many years. Well, not the part about loving you because he just met you,
Yeah.
but I I push the covers off me and make my way to the end of the bed and wrap my arms around him awkwardly. He leans into my touch, and I feel a pulse go up to my arm, but I don't let go. What? And we sit there for a while just in each other's company. I have the answers I wanted, but is it really better knowing the truth? I
Well,
mean, I would say.
yeah. Um, what little side note, isn't this entire paragraph exactly what he said at the end of the last chapter?
It certainly started off that way. Most of
Ex-
it is, yeah.
yeah, except for him admitting that he loves her.
Yeah.
Um, but anyway, okay. Well, damn, we are just plowing right through this.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah.
Cuz I need to go fast.
Yeah.
Um
Okay, am I starting this one?
no, it's me.
Are you sure?
Wait.
I thought you started the
Oh
last
no, it
one.
is you. It is you. That's why I finished it.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All
Have
right.
fun with this quote.
Yeah, I know. Chapter 26. Help. Help! Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Grimm did not fucking say that! Ugh, I hate Grimm. He's a quote thief. I hadn't spoken to Hunter much after what he told me. It was just too much to take in. I just needed some time to myself to help think things through. After him finally getting dressed, a little bit disappointing, he dropped me off home, where I have gone straight to my room and not come out of for the last few days. Luckily, it's a bank holiday, so I haven't missed any of school. Not that I would do that anyway. I haven't seen much of my mum either. Sure, she's been home from work and stuff, but I have hardly seen her. She's been working so hard lately just to keep up with all the payments, and as Christmas is coming up, she's just trying to save up any money she can. I know she wants to make Christmas special, but all I want is her to be home for Christmas. Stop saying Christmas, so that we can have a nice day together. I smiled as I looked out the window as my favorite season has finally arrived. Autumn. Did she say it was autumn in the last chapter?
I don't remember.
Autumn. It was just the right amount of cold, and all the trees looked beautiful in the dying daylight. The sunset casted an orange glow across the leaves and created a hue of colors that made me feel warm on the inside. I sighed from where I sat on my bed and decided I could do with getting out this room and getting some fresh air. So this is kind of another short chapter. I'll read I'll read 4 more. So that way you can read a little bit and then I can finish it and you can start the next one.
Okay.
I had been sat in this room for too long and I needed to get out to clear my mind. Maybe the fresh air will help me think through all the different possibilities about all the new things that I have learned. Yes, I know autumn starts in September, but the leaves don't really start to change colors till about November. That's when it truly becomes beautiful. Getting dressed in black skinny jeans and an off-white jumper, I grabbed my warmest coat and a beanie to hide my bedridden hair that resembled a bird's nest on my head, and made my way out the door, making sure to lock up as I left. The sun was setting quickly, so I made a mental note to myself to not be too long as I started my stroll. Walking down the street, I could feel the crunch of the leaves under my feet, and it made me happy on the inside, knowing that my favorite time is here. The slight breeze that ruffled my clothes, and not crows, and tried to bite at my bare skin that was exposed on my face.
How about just bite at my face?
Yeah, for real. I think it's your turn.
Oh, yeah. Coming to my usual route, I take a left instead of a right because I just wanted to try something different. And this way, I should hopefully be quicker. Just trying to leave the old me behind a bit. Be this new confident girl who could take different routes. The wind has picked up a bit, and I can feel my nose starting to run as the cold slaps me in the face one more time, reddening my cheeks and nose further. Right now, I resemble Rudolph, and I'm not feeling too confident about that. Nevertheless, I carry on walking through the November cool, crisp air, letting it nibble away at my flesh like little fish.
Ew!
I don't like the way this person writes.
Me
I really
neither.
don't. It was getting darker quicker than I thought it would, and I had a horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach that someone was watching me. I could feel their eyes boring into the back of my head, and an unsettling feeling washed over me. Oh, here we go.
Uh-oh.
I quickened my pace and looked behind me, but there was no one there. Just a few cars parked on the street and a cat meowing in the darkening distance. I tried to calm my breathing and my racing heart, but they were out of control as I heard footsteps behind me. I was about to turn the corner to get to freedom when a hand grabbed my shoulder. I screamed until I turned around and saw who was behind me. Fear gripped my heart and silenced me. Drew was stood there. He had a hard gleam in his eyes, and that frightens me down the core. He made my bones rattle the way he was looking at me as I heard Hunter's warning and a story ring through my head like a bullet. As a vice-like grip was wrapped around my arm, Drew pulled me towards a black SUV that I hadn't noticed was parked at the end of the street. It was only when we were halfway towards it that I unfroze. My brain kicked in and realized what was going to happen, and I started to kick and scream before I was hit on the back of the head with a blunt, heavy object, and everything went black.
Oh my god. What's gonna happen?
Do you want to finish it?
Yeah, I can. Okay. I woke up and I felt like death. There was a thumping in the back of my head as if my brain had become my heart. It was pitch black and I couldn't see what was in front of me, and panic started to kick in again. I felt the restraints on my wrists and legs binding me to my chair as I tried to move myself away. There was nothing but darkness, and darkness was my enemy and my friend. He blinded me from the horrors, and yet he blinded me from the light. So dramatic.
Interesting.
I struggled against the binds, only for them to become tighter and to bite into my soft flesh and enjoy
Ew.
their meal more. Ugh.
Stop, dude.
Not everything has to eat you. Do you know what vor is?
What'd you say?
Do you know what vor is?
Vor?
VORE.
No.
Oh, don't look it up, dude.
Okay, I won't.
But for those of you who do, she's giving me the vibes.
What? Do I want to know?
No, it's really gross.
Is it a thing?
Yes, it's a fetish.
Oh. Okay. I'll stay away from that. Thank you.
Please do. I wish I never learned about it.
Okay. Gotcha.
A soft whimper came out of my mouth, but in the darkness it sounded like a roar to my ears. I don't know how long I sat there, maybe 5 minutes, maybe an hour, but after all that time had passed, there was a click and the lights came bursting on, scaring away the darkness right before my eyes. Blinded by the lights, my eyes snapped shut, protecting my eyeballs to stop them from being seared by the light. over description. You do not need this much description, Sir Ellious. That's not necessary. When my eyes finally opened, I took in my surroundings. I was in a big warehouse or aircraft hangar type thing that had chains hanging from the ceiling. I don't think any aircraft hangar is going to just have chains dangling.
No. Kyle can confirm.
Yeah, so can my brother.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of. Afterwards, we can talk about that, but okay. I'm curious.
Yeah. Well, I'll just tell you now. He got a new job.
Oh, cool. Good.
He's
Where?
like in the process. It's in where all the Mormon people are.
In what state?
The state with the Mormons. I cannot.
I know what you mean, but I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Montana?
No. It's next to Nevada.
Utah?
Yes.
Oh, Utah.
Yeah, Salt Lake City is just full of Mormons. Did you not know that?
No.
Oh. Well.
No, I more said that because I was saying, like, how did he get a job all the way out in Utah?
Oh. Well, I can tell you about that later.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Where even was I? Okay, yeah, the chains. That made my nerves go up. There were high beams and metal walls. Looking down at myself, I saw that I was only in my jumper and trousers. My coat and beanie had disappeared, and I could feel the cold taking advantage of my lack of layers. That's just, that makes me feel gross.
I mean, yeah. Do you know what a jumper is?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just, I don't know, the taking advantage of my lack of layers just does not.
Oh, that part. I thought you meant because they took her coat off.
No.
Oh. I was like, I mean, that's not really a huge deal.
No. It was just the way it was written.
Yeah, no, I totally see what you're saying now.
For the first time, I looked around me and noticed a group of people, mostly males, but there were a few females dotted here and there throughout them, and they were all looking at one thing. Me. They all had the same look on their faces, and I didn't like that. Their faces were passive, as if holding no emotion, but their eyes held excitement for the events to come. In the middle stood Drew. He was holding a knife in his right hand, and a gun, was pinned down to his left thigh. I thought he was going to have a knife in one hand and a gun in the other. He was going to make her choose which one
she wanted to die by.
And then he would use the other one.
Right.
My face flashed when he saw me, but it was something sinister that made my heart stop. He walked towards me ever so slowly, toying with the knife until he was in front of me, and the knife was pressed to the skin of my neck. I could feel the cool bite of the metal as it pressed against my delicate skin. His left hand came up and grabbed a fistful of my hair, making me cry out in pain, making sure that my neck was exposed. He leant forward so that his mouth was close to my ear, and whispered 2 words that sent shivers down my spine. Let's begin.
Ew. Gave me shivers. Let's just remind everybody that the title of this book is His Nerd. And here's where we are.
Yeah. I'm about to start a torture scene.
I've got an ad playing. 1 second.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, literally, how is this going to end? Because there's only 2 chapters left after this one.
Oh, yeah. Really? I mean, I'm not saying it won't end. It probably will, but it'll probably just be a sucky ending because it'll be crammed all in there, you know?
Well, there's a content warning here.
Okay.
Are you still getting an ad?
Yeah, I'm waiting
Um,
for the X to pop up.
says the chapter contains distressing scenes, hints of violence and upsetting themes. Don't read it if you're not comfortable with it. She says under 15, but I don't think if it's as bad as I'm thinking it's gonna be, it probably shouldn't be anybody under 18.
I don't. I mean, it's just.
So,
I
yeah,
don't think it's gonna be anything too crazy.
yeah, probably not. But still, if you don't like, if you're listening in the future or right now, if you don't like violence or anything, I would just leave
Or,
for a few minutes.
yeah, blood or
Yeah.
anything like that. So,
So, I think it's
nice.
your turn.
It is. Yay, I get to read this part.
Mm.
27. Trouble. That's what you named this chapter? Trouble. And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Ooh, that's creepy.
Oof.
The cold steel of the blade against my neck took the warmth right out of my skin. There was nothing else in the room apart from me and that knife. I tried not to show my fear that was seeping through me, but it came pouring out of me, as did my blood, as he sliced it lightly over my flesh. I kept my mouth closed, but I'm pretty sure they could hear my pathetic screams.
Oh
I
God.
didn't I didn't
Sorry,
say any. No, it's okay.
I skipped
Is it?
ahead
Oh, you did? Okay.
a little bit. Yeah.
I didn't say anything as he made his way around my body, slicing the skin open. I hissed a few times and mentally screamed at them to stop, but I never said a word. After, excuse me, after 10 minutes, which felt like much longer, Drew stopped to observe his handiwork. He had cut off the sleeves of, what? Sleeves of team jumper and ripped my trousers to access my legs.
Okay. I'm I'm going to vet this chapter real quick because if we're about
Mm-hmm.
to read a R scene, I do not, or like a torture porn scene, I don't want to read that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Um.
I'm reading it
Okay.
too.
I
I'm
think we're
skimming.
good.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly just like blood.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're fine.
Okay.
And it ends in Hunter's point of view,
Yeah.
where he like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't no spoilers, but okay.
Okay. So let me put it back on the stream here.
All right. Let me know when I'm good.
Alrighty.
All right, just a lot of blood talk. Fair
Mm-hmm.
warning. I could feel a thin trickle of blood flowing down my neck, my warm blood oozing out from my body, leaving me and making my body panic and work hard to keep me alive. I couldn't give up even if he had only given me shallow cuts. I knew this was the beginning of an end. I wouldn't let him win. I just needed to find a way to get out of here. As he stepped back, I noticed all the people who were stood around me. Most of them looked pretty angry, and some looked slightly happy, if that's what you could call it. Drew's smile haunted me as he spoke in a loud voice. Well, 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 looks like we got ourselves a tough one. There was a chorus of laughter as he turned around with his arms outstretched, soaking up their loyalty. I made no sound, but on the inside I was screaming. I was ready to die on the spot. I didn't want to have to live through that pain again. I wanted to be strong, like the way Hunter had taught me to stand up for myself and to not hide who I am. I was stronger than they knew. I had changed, and I could defend myself. I was no longer the scared girl who hid in the shadows. I was the girl who stood up for herself against her bully, who ignored all the people who talked about her behind her back. I was stronger than they gave me credit for. I tried to speak up and defend myself as they all stood around me and laughed, but the words were lost in my throat, stuck there. And all that came out was a loud of glaring noise before I closed my mouth and hoped that they didn't hear me. Just like that, my confidence slipped away and smashed into 1,000 pieces.
Do you
Uh,
want me to read a couple paragraphs?
Yeah, I mean, you can read several or like until Hunter's point of view.
Yeah, and then you can finish it up.
Okay.
Um, all right, that's enough. His voice boomed across the darkness, silencing those who lived in it. They all shut their mouths and moved back away from me and walked away, leaving me alone with Drew in my own personal hell. I sat there as he studied me, blood dripping from my arms, legs, and my neck, making a steady pat onto the concrete floor. I watched as he dragged a chair to sit in front of me. He turned it around so he was straddling the chair, toying with the knife that was draped in my blood, wearing it like a luscious red gown. Ugh,
Hey, that's a pretty good sentence.
that is.
Like, that's very poetic. That makes me think of like Edgar Allan Poe or something.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty good imagery.
Yeah.
I stared at the knife, wishing it would just end my suffering as my blood was slowly leaving my body. I knew he was trying to scare me, and I'll tell you what, he was doing a darn good job of it. He didn't say anything to me, just looked at me and started to clean his knife against a white cloth, staining it in my blood. The contrast in colors made me feel queasy, and I was starting to go lightheaded from all the blood I was losing. I guess, well, she didn't really describe how deep the cuts were, but if they were shallow, she
Still,
shouldn't be losing blood that fast.
that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, I doubt that that would make her lightheaded.
Unless she's like severely anemic,
Yeah.
but she doesn't say that she has anemia or anything. So,
Yeah. Rachel's a
anyway,
nurse.
sorry, just had to whip out my medical knowledge for a minute. Um, Starting to go lightheaded from the blood I was losing as the blood didn't stop flowing from my cuts. Finally, he looked at me and spoke to me ever so softly. You know, I have a special treat for you. I didn't like the tone of his voice, and I didn't like that he was giving me a surprise. He pointed with his knife to a door on the far side of where I was sat. I hadn't noticed that there was a door there, but I wasn't surprised because it was so dark in the corner. I watched as the door swung open and a scream was finally realized from my throat. Okay.
Hunter's point of view. I was stood just outside of the entrance to hell. There was nothing I wanted to do more than leave this place, to banish it from my mind and pretend this never happened. I was stood in front of Drew's hideout, the warehouse. I received a text and I knew I had to come whether I liked it or not. If I didn't, then I would just end up being hunted by them and dragged here against my will. I couldn't leave, alive at least. I walked inside only to be seen by Drew himself, toying with his favorite knife. He slipped the knife to my throat, and I knew better than to argue and try to get out of it. Keeping my mouth shut, I let him guide me to a back room. Uh oh. He sat me down on a chair and looked at me closely. I started back with all the hatred I could muster. Ah, now, Hunter, that is no way to treat an old friend, now is it? His voice was taunting me, but I didn't care. I no longer wanted to be a part of this gang. Never should have joined in the first place, and I was really regretting making the decision now. You were never friends, Drew. My voice was as hard as ice, and it cut deep. I could see the anger in his eyes, but I didn't say anything more. I turned my head away from him before I did something I would regret. Drew turned to leave, but before he did, he left me with some words. Enjoy the show. Right then at that moment, I knew something bad was happening and my stomach dropped. I sat in the dark with fear gripping at my heart at the thought of what could be going on out there, at what Drew was doing. I wish I could get in contact with Declan and Liam to help me out, but Drew had taken my phone away from me as soon as I had arrived. He should have called them, like, on his way there.
Yeah, or told them that he got a text.
Yeah. I waited and waited while I heard the shouts and the laughter of the gang. I knew something bad was happening. I I sat in the darkness for a long time. Finally, I was fetched by some lowlives who were dragging me out into the main part of the building. Across the room, there was someone sat on a chair, and Drew was talking to them while fiddling with his knife. From this distance, I could tell it was a female, and my stomach dropped as the realization hit me as to who was sitting in that chair. I tried to fight off the filthy maggots that were holding me, but they were stronger than they looked, and I couldn't get to her. She was too far away for me to reach, and I needed to get to her to protect her and take her away from all this mess. A scream was ripped from her throat as I watched Drew's smile contort into one of madness as he lifted the knife away from her cheek where fresh blood was streaming down her face. Oh, boy. From his left leg, he lifted up a gun and pointed at Ava's head. I watched horrified shouting and screaming as a shot rang out in the still silence, and then my whole world crumpled into nothing as I watched the body slump to the floor. What?
What? Oh my god!
I, I fell to my knees in agony, my heart being ripped from my chest once more as a sharp pain came from the back of my head, and my whole world turned black. Hey
I
guys,
was
I hope you
not
liked this
expecting
chapter.
her. Oh, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I know it wasn't the nicest chapter, but it helps to fill in the story.
You
No, it
should.
literally doesn't.
No. This should not be happening in the second to last fucking chapter.
It does not fill in the story.
So.
And it's also excessive. Like, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
I was not. Well, I think she's gonna do a. Oh, what's it called? Like where they make you think something happened, but it actually didn't.
Yeah.
Like, obviously she wants it to look like Ava's dead, and I don't think she actually is. But
yeah, I don't think so either.
If she actually is, that is definitely a plot twist that I did not see coming.
Yeah. I mean, just the way that, okay, now Drew just sounds like just completely like a freaking serial killer, like out of a horror movie or something. I mean, and everything that happened before this was child's play. I mean,
yeah, well, I mean, I guess he kind of showed that he was capable of doing something like this when he like literally assaulted her in the middle of the hallway in broad daylight at school.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like
No, go ahead.
His motivation just doesn't make any sense. Like, he's not fleshed out at all.
Right.
Like, if we knew a little bit more about him, maybe this would fill in the story. But no, it does not. Sir Ellious.
Yeah.
Do you have any more commentary on this chapter?
No.
Okay. Let's go to the next one.
Oh, there's two more.
Oh. Well, the third to last chapter should not be when the climax happens.
Right.
Okay? 28. Gone. Is she actually dead?
We'll see.
'Tis death's park, where he breeds life to feed him. Cries of pain are music for his banquet. Jesus. Okay, so it's still in Hunter's point of view. I don't remember much from the night. It had only been a few hours since it happened, and yet it felt like an entity. I woke up to the sound of police sirens and flash of red and blue. The red-crimson color brought back the memories of blood dripping from the knife that he was toying with in a psychotic way. The way he smiled when he pulled the trigger made me want to kill the bastard with my bare hands, just punching his face over and over again. Right now I was sat in handcuffs. It was the early hours of the morning, but time seemed to be going so slow. Time was my enemy, and more than anything I wanted to see Ava. I needed to know if she was alive, if she was okay. My mind was focused on Ava, and only Ava, and sitting in these handcuffs were making me restless. I couldn't stay here. When I came around, Ava was no longer there sitting in the chair, and because I was not family, no one would tell me anything. I didn't notice Liam and Declan walk up to me till there were stood right outside the police car. They knocked on the window, and a policeman came over and allowed them 5 minutes to talk to me before I was to be taken to the police station to be written up. Rolling down the window for me, the policeman gave us some space as he backed off a little, watching his watch. I could tell he was trying to listen to our conversation, but we kept our voices quiet so he couldn't hear what we were talking about. You alright, man? It was Liam who was talking to me, and I sighed, the impatience building up in me. Um, it's another really short chapter. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'll read 2 more.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess, but I really just need to see Ava. I need to know if she is okay. It was horrible what happened, and I need to know she will be okay. They both shared a look that I did not like. Liam shook his head and avoided what I said. We'll get you out of this, okay? I nodded and at what he said as the policeman came over and told us our time was up, and Liam and Declan left off to their own car, but to follow us back to the station to help bail me out.
I slumped back as far as I could in the police car as an officer climbed in the front and drove me away from Ava and to the station. After going through the long procedure of getting processed and being asked endless questions, I was finally sat in a cell. My bail was set at 300,000 euros, so I doubted I'd get out of there tonight. Even though Liam and Declan were rich, I doubt they would have that amount of money just on hand. I was grateful to know that Drew was sat in another cell. Oh, as he was arrested, and I'm sure he will be charged and sent off to prison. This was peace of mind to me. Wrong piece. And I hoped he would stay there for the rest of his life. He deserved it, and I would do everything in my power to make sure he stayed there for as long as possible. 10 minutes later of being sat with my thoughts and how I was going to kill Drew, an officer came to my cell and let me go. I was surprised, to say the least, but now I could go to Ava. I rushed out of the cell and made my way to the front to find Liam and Declan waiting for me. I nodded at them as a sign of respect, which they took gratefully, and we left the station and drove straight to the hospital. Everything was going by so quickly, and yet it wasn't quick enough, and all I wanted to see was her. I shouldn't have pushed her away, and I shouldn't have hurt her in such a way. I should have kept her safe, warned her right from the beginning.
Yeah.
I just needed to know why Drew went after her, specifically after I had slept with other girls since Jasmine. Right now, all I needed was her, even, or if she'd even have me. After what she has been through because of me, I wouldn't be surprised if she hated me forever. The realization that she might reject me only made me crazy to get to her to tell her I'd never let this happen
Oh
to her
my
again.
god. Okay, that is not what he should be worried about right now.
No.
Like, ugh, that's just pissing me off. Sorry.
That's okay. That I should never have let this happen in the first place. When we finally pulled up to the hospital, I jumped out of the car before we even parked and sprinted into the hospital doors. I shoved them open and got a few surprised and startled looks from the people inside, but I didn't stop to look at them or to see if Declan and Liam were behind me as I rushed to the desk so I could finally find her. You want to finish it?
Yeah. As I dashed up to the desk, I slammed my hands down on the top, making the nurse behind the counter jump and look at me with fright. I swallowed my sense of urgency and tried to slow my breathing and my racing heart rate that was going a mile a minute. Calming myself down, I spoke in the most calmest voice that I could muster. I need to see Ava, darling. My voice sounded strained, and I coughed slightly to cover it up. I could sense Declan and Liam behind me, but I ignored them. Oh, excuse me. Her name sounded oh my god, her name sounded so nice when it rolled off my tongue. But I ignored this fact and waited for the nurse to look up the information and tell me which room she was in before I darted off again and was flying by all the rooms till I found room 76. I stood outside the door with Declan and Liam on either side of me, letting me have my own space. Liam placed his hand on my shoulder, giving me a reassuring nod, while Declan gave me a little shove, which I knew was his way of saying everything he was thinking. I took a deep breath, preparing myself for the worst as I placed my hand onto the cool metal of the hospital door handle and pushed it down and pushed the door open. It was quiet in the room. There was no sound apart from the beeps of the heart monitor and all the other monitors in the room keeping her alive. The walls were a burning white, and I turned my eyes away from them to the small, frail body that was laying in the bed in white sheets. Her skin was pale from the amount of blood she had lost. Her lips were once plump and red, were now blue and pale, and I couldn't take my eyes off them. She looked dead, and if it wasn't for the heart monitor going off with every heartbeat, telling me she was alive, I would have thought she was dead. Okay, what about the gigantic fucking bullet wound in her head? Like,
Yeah. I
so I don't deal with traumas like this in the
yeah.
hospital. But, like, come on. If she. So, they didn't say what kind of gun it was. I'm
Mhm.
guessing it was probably like a standard handgun.
Mhm. 9 mil.
Yeah. Like, at point blank, like how it was.
Yeah.
She.
And we're assuming from the front of the head, not the side.
I'm kind of. I guess I was either the front or like slightly to the side, like on the temple a little bit, but like pointing towards the middle.
Yeah.
Like, that would completely blow your brains out.
So I
Like,
actually have um a, not a story. I don't want to reveal
mm-hmm.
things, but let's just say this actually happened to my cousin
Oh,
and he survived. But he's not exactly the same.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. We're not really close to them. Like I never really would ever see them or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's a little different,
Mm-hmm.
but he's still very very functional as a person and all that.
Yeah.
But he survived somehow. It was an absolute miracle.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I mean, I'm glad he survived, but I think,
yeah,
that's a very small chance for survival.
absolutely. Yeah,
And, like, if the entry wound isn't big, the exit wound certainly would be.
and
And,
I, if she survived, I would have to think that it wasn't. It was just regular 9 mil and not like hollow point.
mm-hmm.
Because hollow point, I mean,
She'd be
you use
gone.
those bullets specifically for people,
Yeah.
for bad people. So, um, yeah.
So, okay. We're over analyzing.
No, but I mean, it's
Mhm.
perfectly reasonable to
Yeah.
be saying that. So,
Yeah. Um and like also I don't know. Never mind. I'm just not going to get too morbid.
okay.
Um let's see. I stared at her for a few minutes when the heart monitor started to go crazy. As her heartbeat was getting lower, I panicked and stood there frozen as Liam and Declan rushed in the room, and Liam pressed the emergency button, and doctors and nurses came rushing in and shoved us out so they could work on her without us getting in the way. I stood at the door, looking through the glass on the door, and watched as they took out the defibrillators and placed it on her, and watched as she jumped up from the bed, and she slowly slipped away.
Mm.
I felt my knees buckle under me, and I felt the tears fall down like a river as her life was slipping right through my fingers. I was losing her once again. So she's actually gonna. I don't know. I don't think she's actually gonna die.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not. Why can't I get to the next chapter? What I just okay. Let me try this way.
If you can't, I can
There we go.
do a screen share. Okay.
Got it.
All right.
Okay. There's also an epilogue.
Okay.
So, all right. Chapter 29. The end. I have been bent and broken, but I hope into better shape. What? Okay. Hunter's point of view still. 1 month later. I woke up on a crisp Saturday morning and I felt the cold seep into my bones. I shivered and turned my head to the side at the empty bed and stared out the window. I saw the garden covered in the December frost. In its beauty, the way Ava saw it. I had that dream again of what happened to her. I lay there for ages till I sent a quick text off my phone and plucked up the courage to go to the place I have not been to because of my guilt eating me up alive. Rolling out of bed and jumping into the shower, I let the scalding water wash away my guilt and sins. I washed in my Lynx body wash, hoping product placement, hoping it would take away the smell of despair. I sighed as I stepped out of the shower and felt it all come back as I wrapped the towel around me. I walked out into the empty bedroom, and the memory of when Ava was in my bed hit me hard. A small smile made its way to my face at the thought of her, her laughter and her smiles, the way she would criticize me on certain things. At the time, I hated it. Now I just miss it. I miss her.
So she is actually dead. Dude.
I'm looking ahead a couple paragraphs. Did you?
No. Oh, yep. Oh
Yikes,
my
man.
god. Well, let's get it over with.
All right. I left my bedroom 10 minutes later, all dressed in a somewhat presentable way, with blue skinny jeans on and a black hoodie on. Thumping my way down the stairs, I headed out the door and let my feet crunch in the fresh morning frost. It was a long walk to the cemetery. I didn't drive. I needed to suffer in the way she suffered. Oh, how noble. I couldn't live with myself after what happened, with things being repeated over and over. Letting the cold nip into my skin and bite its way down to my bones, I didn't stop. I kept going, plodding along to the rhythm of my heartbeat. No matter how cold I could get, no matter how much I suffer, I kept going because I needed to get there. I need to feel her pain. Soon the crunch of the frost beneath my feet turned it to the crunch of gravel as I wandered down the familiar path that I had dared not walk down. The quick journey felt like it took hours as the slow plodding of my feet dragged me down and the guilt weighed me down like shackles dragging behind me. I finally arrived at the rusted gates and stared out at the fog that lay across the ground. Letting my hands rest onto the rusted gate, I let the cold burn through my skin and down to my very bones. The rust stained my hands, and the gate whined in protest as I pushed it open, wanting to keep the grief of families and friends inside. Um, you
I
want to
can read
read?
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
The graveyard was cold and gray, and I was careful where I stepped, making sure I wasn't disrespecting anyone. Making my way to the back, I found the gravestone I was looking for. The neat gravestone shone back at me with neat carved letters and flowers that had started to wilt. It was clear someone was trying their best to keep this gravestone in the best condition that they could and keep it looking nice with the flowers that they had brought. I sunk down to my knees and stared at the gravestone that stood there. It wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for me. Tears filled my eyes and flooded my face as I let them fall freely. I'm so sorry for what happened to you. It would never have happened if I never got you involved with me. If I could turn back time, I would never have let you get close to me. I would have pushed you away and not let my feelings get the better of me. You were my first It's not Ava.
Oh my gosh. How could
That's
I
a
not have
dick
seen this?
move.
Oh, that's so good, though. Wow. I'm
You were my
impressed.
first love, and I still love you. You will always hold a special place in my heart, but now I've heard another, Jasmine, and I don't know how to fix it. I need your help. I would try to express my feelings, but as you know, I've never been very good at that. I really like Ava, and I need her to know that. I would go as far as to say I loved her, but she deserves so much better than me. I guess I need her, but I just don't know how to tell her. I thought you could show I thought you should know that Drew is not now behind bars and will spend the rest of his life there. I hope that brings you some peace of mind and lets you rest in peace. I feel myself shake as I let out a breath and I stare at the headstone. I hear a small voice behind me that makes me freeze. I'll read 3 more. You just did. I turn around and there she stood. No sign that she's been through hell and back except for the look in her eyes. She looked just as gorgeous as ever, and all I wanted to do was tell her how sorry I was, but the words were lodged in my throat. I couldn't get them out. I rose to my feet and calmed my breathing. You got my text then. I wanted to shoot myself for saying something so stupid. Clearly, she got it. Otherwise, she wouldn't be standing in front of you, dipshit. She simply nods her head at me, and an awkward silence falls over us, drowning me in guilt and all my sins.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. I look at her and I notice how she touches her arm subconsciously, where her scars are from Drew's knife, and I felt the guilt get heavier in the pit of my stomach. I pushed the guilt aside and I found the courage to speak what was on my mind, the reason I'd asked her to come. Ava, look, after everything you've been through, I just want to say sorry, and I never meant for you to get hurt. And I do love you, Ava. My feelings for you were never faked. That's not true. And I want you to know that I truly care for you and I love you. I just need you to know that. I finished off my ramble in one breath, and at first I wasn't sure if Ava heard me at all. But then she smiled, and I felt myself relax. Hunter, I'm not mad at you, and I don't blame you for anything. At first I was mad you never told me, but then I realized it was so painful for you to let people in, you didn't bother. I understand now why you did what you did. I know you thought keeping me in the dark was best, but I know you now know that that isn't true. I also now that you only started dating me because of a dare. Now, I can't say I'm not hurt because I am. I feel we both used each other for our own reasons, so I'm willing to look past everything and move forwards. I feel the same way about you, and I don't know why it has taken me so long to see it. Maybe we could try dating for real this time if you want to. A smile was wide on my face and my eyes were bright. I listened to her words, and I felt like a kid on Christmas Day. I make my way towards her and cupped her face in my hands. I'd like that very much. Ever so slowly, I dipped my head down to hers, giving her room to pull away from me, as I didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable, but she didn't, and finally my lips met hers. The kiss was smooth and gentle, and eventually turned into one of passion and a need for feeling her close to me. I pulled away from her to catch my breath and smiled at her, and she smiled back twice as hard, and she looked radiant. So, what do you say, Ava? Will you be my real girlfriend? I smiled at me, and I returned it as she giggled and let out an excited yes. I picked her up and spun her around, and I kissed her once more. And that's the last chapter.
Well, I think there's an epilogue.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got another ad. But, I mean, you can start reading. How long is the epilogue?
It's not long.
Okay. Is there a title?
Yes, it's called Epilogue. Yeah, I'll start reading and then I don't know.
I see it now.
Okay.
It's really short.
Yeah, I can read down to the stars and then you can finish it.
Okay.
Here's the quote. Some men are born to good luck. All they do or try to do comes right. All that falls to them is so much gain. All their geese are swans, and their cards are trumps. Toss them which way you will. They will always like poor puss. Oh, it's probably like Puss in Boots. Alight upon their legs, and only move on so much the faster. Huh? The world may very likely not always think of them as they think of themselves. But what care they for the world? What can it know about the matter? Huh.
Interesting.
Okay. I rushed around with a sense of panic in my chest and feeling as if nothing was yet prepared and I'd forgotten something. I double-checked what I was wearing, and my hair and makeup were in place. I was wearing a dusty pink dress that hugged my curves with nude heels. My hair was curled and fell just above my bum and was pinned back loosely. My makeup was simple and just highlighted my features. I never agreed with having your face caked in makeup. My hair.
Okay, then. Jeez.
My hair had grown quite a lot in the last couple of years, and it was in need of a chop. Luckily, I bet she's getting ready for their wedding.
In a dusty pink dress?
Well, you never know.
Maybe they're doing something.
I don't know. Luckily, Lily was here to help me through it and help me keep my head. She also helped with my hair and makeup because I was still useless at it, even after trying for years to learn what I need to. Everyone was going to be at the reception in half an hour, and I wasn't there yet. Lily was doing her best to calm me down, and we soon left in a maddened rush to get there before the guests because I'm pretty sure it's rude to turn up after your guests. Arriving, I found Hunter looking as handsome as ever. He was wearing a gray three-piece suit that fitted his muscles and toned body brilliantly. His tie matched the color of my dusky pink dress, and it suited him nicely. I smiled at him as he welcomed the first lot of guests. I walked over to him once he had finished talking to them, and I wrapped my arms around him while he was facing away from me. I felt him chuckle as it sent vibrations through his body and his back. His toned back was hard under my cheek, and my hands were pressed against his abs, and I felt the move which made me giggle.
We get it, Ava. The only reason you're marrying him is
for his body.
Toned. Yeah. His abs. That's basically why.
This was always the best way to hug him, and I know he secretly enjoys it. He turned around to face me, and his eyes went wide as he looked at me. He pulled back from me and held my hand to give me a bit of a twirl. I laughed at the sensation as I came back to face him. I smiled, and he smiled back. He gave me a quick kiss on my forehead before he went back to welcoming more guests that were arriving, and I went off to go check that the food was being prepared right, as the last thing I needed was for that to be messed up tonight. Okay, your turn.
Half an hour, all the guests had arrived and were seated in our seats. I were seated at the front table. Oh, you were right. Overlooking where everyone else was seated. I placed my hand on Hunter's as he turned and smiled at me before he rose out of her seat. So what did they do? Did they get married at like 18 or 19 or 20? I mean, they're not even 21 yet.
Well, I don't know. She didn't specify how long it had been, but she said it had been a few years.
And I heard her say a couple years. But still, even if she was 17.
Yeah.
That's 20. I think he's maybe a little older.
I just have no idea.
Anyway.
It doesn't matter. We're almost at the end.
Yeah. Just finish it.
Yeah.
Hunter and I already read that part. I placed my hand on Hunter's as he turned and smiled at me before he rose out of her seat. Lily was sat with Declan, who turned out to be the guy she was always texting at school. There we go. He finally plucked up the courage to ask her out, and they were the cutest couple ever. I'm very happy for her, and it's nice that she doesn't have to third wheel me and Hunter anymore. Liam sat next to them with his boyfriend. Oh. So it was that one? Okay. It may have came as a surprise to everyone when he told us, but we all live and accept him, and his boyfriend Austin is the nicest person I had met. He is charming and competitive, as he also swims, which is how they met. It's such the cutest love story ever. Racing against each other, then falling in love. Okay. I would like to thank you all for coming to Ava and I's engagement. Engagement party. Okay. I would honestly be lost without this girl. I'm so lucky that she is mine and she is here with me today. Sadly, her father could not be here to see his daughter get married or walk her down the aisle, but he'll be there in our hearts, and I hope I have his blessing for marrying his daughter. This girl means everything to me, and I'm not going to lose her because I'll protect her for the cheers. A sad smile overtakes my face when I hear him talk about my dad, and I know my dad would have liked him. There's a chorus of cheers, and as Hunter sat back down, there was no doubt in my mind that this was the guy I wanted to spend the rest of my life with.
Oh my, that's the worst way to end that fucking line.
And okay, I'm going to read the first party?
Sorry, go ahead.
I want to thank everyone for making this part. I hope you like the ending. I will not be writing a squeal, so sorry. Like what? Oh,
bravo.
Yes, claps. Oh, We did it.
I'm giving you a virtual high five.
Oh, here. There you go.
Man, that was not how I expected things to end. That
Honestly, go ahead.
no, just the ending
Yeah. Yeah.
literally came out of nowhere. Nowhere.
Yeah. Like it again, it's like the character I mean, there was some shady stuff and like some of the people were
Mm-hmm.
not good people, like characters and stuff, and they did some pretty crappy things. But again, I have to just the the entire story until the last two chapters,
Mm-hmm.
everything that went on was relatively not like super duper crazy. And
Yeah.
then this, it's like two completely different styles
Yeah.
of that's that what you know what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
And yeah, I and honestly it was a bummer. Just like it really brought the mood down.
Yeah.
It to a level, to a very morbid, upsetting, disturbing level
Yeah.
that I did not feel matched with the rest of the book, and I did
Yeah.
not like that.
Yeah. It was just a completely different tone. Like,
Yes, that's the word. Yeah.
it's like she lost the last half of this story. And, or not even the last half, the last few chapters,
Mm-hmm.
and just substitute it with whatever else she was writing. The end of
Mm-hmm.
some other book. Like, it was fairly lighthearted up until
Right.
the last three chapters.
Well,
It,
and
oh,
you made a comment before about Drew, and I just want to point out that he was definitely present in the book a
mm-hmm,
couple times, but somebody that would drastically change the course of this
mm-hmm.
book
Well,
should have been much more present throughout the entire book.
yeah, and like he's the main antagonist,
Exactly.
and not even just changing the course of the book, but he's like changing the course of the two main characters' lives.
Right.
Like he
Yeah.
should have been much more developed, fleshed out. Like you
Right.
said, should have been more present.
But like you said, like you if you had more backstory about him or something, that would
Mm-hmm.
definitely help. And that's exactly, yeah. Um,
So, well, that was the end of that dumpster fire.
our first Wattpad Woes
Mm-hmm.
book has come to an end.
Yep.
It was a good time. We had
We
many, many funny moments
yes.
and a couple stellar drawings.
Yes. I don't know. I don't feel like there's enough to like put them in a gallery. But
Yeah, not yet.
maybe like once we do a couple more, I can
Yeah.
do like a nice little art gallery. um Man, so we'll have to like talk about what kind of story we want to read next.
Yeah.
I
And if anyone
almost
happens to, oh, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say I almost am kind of like torn between maybe doing another werewolf book cuz we didn't actually like stream any of the supernatural werewolf or vampire books that we read.
Yeah.
And I also know that Wattpad is notorious for its fan fiction and
Mm-hmm.
like reader X character
What's that?
stories. Like it's a like an insert like you the reader are like the love interest to the character. So it could be like Harry Styles is a very popular one. So it would be like Reader X Harry Styles,
What?
where like it's where the your like the
Interesting.
Y/N meme comes from, the your name meme.
I don't know that.
Oh, well, I guess you weren't very into the Wattpad community when you were 16, like I
Zero.
was.
I didn't even know what that was.
So yeah, we could do one of those. We could do a fan fiction. We could do a werewolf book or something, or a vampire book.
Yeah.
Um,
Something that's completed.
yeah.
That's all I ask.
Yep. So
Yeah, so we'll talk about that this week.
yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll be the next time we stream, we'll be on a brand new book.
And if anyone listens to this or is listening now, feel free to leave suggestions.
Yeah, if you know of any really bad books that are completed, let us know and we'll check it out. So,
All right.
alrighty. Well, I don't have anything else to say.
Me either. It
All
was
right.
something.
Yep. It was
Enjoyed
a
it.
time. We got some pretty iconic phrases out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically,
Oh, yeah.
uh, hump and dump, fuck and chuck,
Yep.
and what was it? Shag and
Oh,
something else. That one wasn't as good.
no.
So, anyway, that was His Nerd by Sir Ellious. And that's
The end.
the end of the stream.
Thanks,
Bye, pal.
guys. Bye, pal.